Unfortunately, I have also had a lot of, clients or women that end up coming to us after they've lost their spouse. The women that existed were either not married or
miserable.
Yeah. So I realized in the year that no point spending time here.
Yeah.
Would want to do something. Something that is a bit more balanced. I heard a lot of no's, a lot of men as well would say, who wants to take advice from like a 20-something girl?
And the best feedback that I've had is dinner conversations make sense now. And it's a small but a big shift.
I don't know many women who are, if they are still in corporate, that have not had a big opportunity along with their, child being born. It is almost uncanny, but that ends up happening. I think the one big thing that motherhood taught me was that you can't be a perfectionist.
Welcome to the She Invest Show. This is where we have conversations about wealth, energetics, money mindset, and how to generate wealth with confidence and ease. Every episode brings you grounded conversations with people who are living this reality. Let's dive in. Welcome to the She Invest Show. Today I have with me my dear friend Sonali. She works with Anand Rathi Wealth since 13 years. She manages a portfolio of $200 million and she constantly works on herself. She has 2 amazing kids. She's wife to technology sales manager. She's a proud gym rat and so much more. I'm sure we'll get into a lot more that I might have missed out in her introduction. Welcome, Sonali.
Thanks, Kalyani, for having me, really.
I think I was telling you earlier as well, my intention about around having this podcast has been to make conversations around money more normalized outside of, like hushed rooms or very close friendships, because it's a tool that so many of us are constantly dealing with, but it's also not something that you have to put your blinkers on and deal with. Money brings a gambit of things that come into contact with it. So that's the general intention with the show. And with your experience, not just professionally, but also what I know for you to be doing personally with the whole juggling act.
Yes.
That's what I want to get into today.
Excellent. Look forward.
Sonali, it really irks me that in 2025, so much has changed. We call ourselves a modern society. Technology is taking leaps at an exponential pace. We still have the discussion around women in finance. Percentage of representation is very, very low, sometimes in single digits. Is that something that you see a lot of as well? Does that annoy you as much as it annoys me?
Absolutely, Kalyani. It is something which is very prevalent. I guess we have to look at why that's happening or why it is. If you have to kind of look at it in our own company, we have a really good gender ratio, but more in the lower positions. Right. As you keep going in the higher up the hierarchy, you have to do a lot more. Rather than just having good technical knowledge or client relationship skills. So it's the juggling act which makes people drop out. And it is high pressure because you're dealing with people's money at the end of the day. You've got to be available almost 24/7 sometimes. Like there is no concept of a proper holiday in a, investment finance manager's portfolio if you have to look at it, right? So because you don't have proper days off, sometimes you've gone on maternity and your clients get taken away. There are so many things of that keep happening, which would lead to women not being there as much. I think it's also to do with the fact that even though you have a lot of women making a lot of money, they're still passing on the decision making to their, male counterparts.
Yes.
So when that happens, then somehow for a man to take a lot of advice about money from another woman, it sometimes takes a lot.
Yeah.
When I was starting out my journey 13 years ago, initially, I heard a lot of no's. I had to build a lot of credibility today to command the respect that I do today. And it's taken a lot. But it's also because of the supportive environment that I had at the organization.
Yeah.
They were, always our top performers are women. So it's the organization that has given a lot of support. And that's another thing that companies need to do. They need to push that, yes, it's okay for you to leave early, work from home a little bit. All of that flexibility has to be given, which is less in the space of finance. It's come in some fields, but in finance, it's still, you're supposed to be in the office in front of that computer or meet clients only face to face. So that's somewhere that,
of course,
that leads to this gap, I would think.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But do you feel then it becomes a case of wanting to prove yourself and having to kind of push even more than you would have otherwise?
For sure. I talked about our company, and it's really supportive to women, but we still have only 3 women in top managerial positions, right?
Wow.
We have a lot of mid-tier leaders who are women, but the top tier leaders are only 3.
Yeah.
And what does that tell us, right? Because they come up, then there is a lot expected from you, and you expect that to give that as well.
Yeah.
So when you want to give that, but I'm going to give you an example, right? That if I have my counterpart, say out of Delhi or Mumbai, who might be doing something similar to what I'm doing, the decision making for him is going to work, coming back, maybe saying a goodbye to their child, and that might be it.
Yeah.
But my list has what is my child going to eat, my children going to eat for lunch, for dinner? Have they been fed what we were told that they had to be fed? What time is their class? I mean, have they done their homework? What was discussed? What did they watch on TV? How much time did they watch TV? So it's so many more things that are there in my mind than somebody else who might be an involved father, I would say. Even an involved father is not got the same mental load as what a mother does.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference that exists.
Of course. I want to do deep dive into motherhood, but slightly later.
Yes.
Before that, tell me also if you see what I see a lot of, which is smart women, like you said, outsourcing financial decisions to men just because they perceive finance as, I don't know, they black box it. It's a little bit like not wanting to have anything to do with it. I've come down to understanding or zeroing in on not wanting to take responsibility of making those big decisions. Also because finance is a very new thing for women to have, a voice over. Even though we've known, our grandparents, our grandmothers managing the house and managing expenses around that. But having, a say in the big decisions may be fairly new in the evolution of, let's say, our history. What do you see? I mean, I want your insight into what your observations are.
So, as you very rightly said, this is a very valid observation, and it exists that a lot of the financial decision making is passed on to the male counterpart or the partner. I have a slightly different thought process on it as to why that could be. Yeah. So if I have to divide it into, generations. Yeah. So our mother's generation, I would think even there were fewer women who were working and actually financially independent. And that itself was a big privilege for them. Yeah. And they believed that the house along with working is a lot, and children is my responsibility, and the finances is my husband's responsibility, and therefore here you go, you look after this.
Yeah.
If I have to talk about our generation of women who are working, it is to do with the fact that, again, they are trying to juggle so much.
Yeah.
If there's something that I can outsource to somebody else and my husband is willing to take that on,
Yeah.
then let me do it.
Yeah.
But what happens at the cost of that is that they leave their financial independence also on them, and they become dependent on they don't tend to take interest on what's happening because you're trying to block it out.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I have also had a lot of clients or women that end up coming to us after they've lost their spouse.
Yeah, of course.
And those are the most painful ones to manage, because everyone around them is trying to tell them so many different things, and they cannot understand. And all they want, they're already going through so much pain of losing their spouse. They have to think about their children. And here, this whole thing is also just kind of thrown on them. So I at least try to do this, and we as a company actually end up doing this, that we have a mandate that the spouses should be part of
any
discussions. Even if they're not understanding a lot, as they become part of our discussions, we have certain initiatives, and then again, they can learn certain basic things from, people like yourself as well, from the courses that you have, right? And then be involved to at least be aware.
Yeah.
You don't need to kind of know which stock to invest into or which fund to buy.
Yeah.
But you definitely need to know
how
much money y'all have together as a family.
Yeah.
Where is it invested? What all to look at if somebody is not there.
Yeah.
Right?
So what beats me is the lack of interest on a topic that I would find very interesting,
Yes.
Why is it so boring, perceived as boring, complicated? Part of it is the jargon.
Yes, for sure.
Right. But the boredom from something that sustains your life.
Yes. I think it's to do with the complexity that it has been perceived to make that exists. Because if you watch a finance channel, right? If you're watching any kind of finance news channel, you're all these stocks, the prices go up and down. It's complicated. A lot of the things that they're talking about are not making sense to us.
Yeah.
So that lack of interest or that belief that I'm not good at that kind of gets reinforced further, that I don't want to know about this. This is not something of interest to me, because it makes you feel dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, when I started 13 years ago, I really didn't know the F of finance.
Really?
I didn't know the difference between equity and debt.
Tell me about that. From an MBA background.
I did my MBA a little bit later, 2 years after I worked. So I am actually a biotechnology engineer.
I'm learning new things.
And I worked for a pharmaceutical consulting company.
Right.
I realized that the consulting's life is something which is really difficult, even as you climb up the ladder.
It's difficult from the start.
And it was long hours, which you're okay to do when you're 21, 22. But you kind of saw that even the partner level, you hardly saw any women. The women that existed were either not married or
miserable.
So I realized in the year that no point spending time here. Would want to do something, something that is a bit more balanced. And if I have to put it in the world of finance, I think private wealth management is a little bit more balanced compared to a lot of other things that you're doing, whether you're doing fund management per se or mergers and acquisitions. All of that is a lot more. So I got into this by accident.
Right.
And someone took a chance on me.
Sure.
And when they took that chance on me, I feel like I did not disappoint because I tried to learn things from the basics.
Yeah.
And understand it rather than maybe the way we were taught at school.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A lot of things we were taught at school were not practically implementable.
This is the unfortunate reality. So even for me, despite having my master's in economics, for finance, the modules were so academic, so theoretical, so non-usable in the real world that I had to build from scratch.
Yes.
Even with accounting, the information, the knowledge that I had was not useful in actually reading company statements. So it very much felt that I had to start from scratch. So She Invest was born out of the need of sharing from the fact that if I found it overwhelming, having no overwhelm around the jargon, that's not what overwhelmed me, but I still had to start from scratch. There was still a lot to kind of come around. Then I'm sure everyone feels the same way, or they block it out. So,
for sure.
Wow. So you had to really then learn on the job?
Yes, I learned on the job. I think I had a really great mentor. Again, it was a woman who was not easy on me, but I think really helped me set some very small but large targets, of learning, of going into the basics and getting into the nitty-gritties, doing operations from the basics. And then that's how I grew little by little. And I kept my, niche on the wealth management, relationship management side. So even in private wealth management, you have a technical side of actually creating products, analyzing products, and then you have the side which is more relationship, client management. But you do need to understand those products very well. What helped, was that we do a limited number of products, and I decided that has to be A to Z. I need to know it. So I would go for other client meetings with other seniors, wherever I would get an opportunity, just listen, absorb, practice, make videos of myself at that time as well, that how am I speaking, what it is. I heard a lot of no's, a lot of men as well would say, who wants to take advice from like a 20-something girl when I first came to Dubai. And it was disappointing. You felt like you want to be out of this profession. Why am I doing this to myself? All of that happened. But then there were also an equal number of people that you met who valued what you were doing, and it made a very large difference. And here I'll actually talk about one particular female client that I had.
We love stories.
She is actually also an inspiration for me. One, she trusted what we were talking about. She gave us references. A bulk of my current clientele are all references from her.
Wow.
But she and her husband, she's in a good position herself. And what we were offering helped her and people around. So there were a lot of people in like the mid to top management that didn't have time to manage their money. And a lot of the banks that existed in Dubai, were looking at the ultra HNI, 5 million plus. But there weren't too many that were catering to, the 1 to 2.5, 1 to 5. And there were a lot of, the ones looking at retail, offering a lot of different products. What do you want to do? So that became our niche. And that actually became where we could add a lot of value. Because it's the basics of compound interest, basics of compounding. Instead of 7% in fixed deposits, earning 14% with the help of some amount of management. And, a lot of those clients have completed 10 years now and are actually sending their children to college. And targets that we had set, 10 years ago, you've seen that compounding effect
Wow.
now, and seeing those kids go to college, it's really rewarding.
Wow, of course. Yeah, that's very rewarding. If you would not be in finance, what would you be doing, Sonali?
I think something related to food.
Food? I would not have expected that.
I mean, that was the idea of doing biotechnology, eventually to get into, I am a big desserts and sugar person.
Wow. Right.
For anyone who knows me, my love for ice cream it goes beyond.
Really?
I actually feel that ice cream can fix it all.
That it can, yeah.
So, yes, I would think that now with all of, seeing children's health, everybody's health, something related to that brings joy but is healthy would be maybe something that I would do maybe someday.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting to know.
Yeah.
So from this background that I'm also getting to know so much more in so much more detail, you now also have Fem Power Project. I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure. So that actually came about when I had my second child.
Yes.
So that was in 2022.
Yes.
A big part of working in private wealth management is that it is financially rewarding.
Yeah.
And it was a big motivator.
Yes.
Right? 2021, our company went public, and that meant that we had some stock options, etc. So our financial position changed in 2022 as a result of that.
Sure.
So the first child, you have a financial need a lot, so you go out there and you do this. The second child, the financial need came down a little bit.
Sure.
Then you start to question that, why am I doing this? Sure. Why am I away from my child so much? I'm having to make this choice all of the time.
Yeah.
So that is when again, the company was very kind to give me a sabbatical to kind of think about what it is that I want to do.
Yeah.
And in that sabbatical, I realized that what was lacking for me was that I didn't have a sense of purpose in what I was doing.
Right.
Because it began with a sense of purpose when you were helping people in this, 1 to 5 million. But then I had stopped acquiring new clients because I wanted to keep it balanced.
Right.
So then that feeling of adding value kind of diminished.
Yeah.
So
also on a day-to-day basis, like if you're doing very Excel-driven or PowerPoint-driven work, then you kind of think, okay, is this all there is to my impact? What I have to offer to make a nice Excel or to type in numbers or whatever it is.
Absolutely. And you meet the same clients over and over again, and they have agreed to what you're saying, and then it's just review, right?
Fair.
So it becomes a monitoring game.
Yeah.
So that started to become a little bit mundane, if I have to put it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find impact in that. And then I remembered that what really worked and really was rewarding was when I would spend time with clients' wives, some of the clients' wives, and go over the basics of financial terms with them. And when they said that, hey, now we understand what you're talking about in the meetings, and it actually became that it was easier for us to coordinate, because, we would call up the wife and say, we need these documents and these things. She would talk to him over dinner. We would have it ready the next day.
Yeah.
So things became a lot faster. And actually, and that in the world of finance, if in investing, time plays a role. It's not about timing the market, but starting or making changes at the right time. Delays of 2-3 months is not a good thing.
Of course.
So that really helped. So that's when other clients would also say, why don't you come to our office, speak to the youngsters, talk about something basic. And then I realized that something we do have Instagram as a platform where one can reach out to more people, because the desire was to actually reach out to sit with each of them individually, but that's not practically possible.
No.
So that's how FemPower project came about.
Right.
It's a page that really focuses on the basics of financial literacy.
Right.
And, the CEO of our company, he always tells us that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
Fair.
So it was more a test for myself, I would think, that do I understand it well enough that can I explain it simply to any audience that might be watching?
Yeah.
So it was a big step to put myself out there.
Yeah, it's very daunting to speak to a camera. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And but then now I've started to enjoy it.
Nice.
And I think how I thought about calling it FemPower was the fact that I felt empowered in most rooms knowing those basic terms.
Yeah.
I was able to navigate even complex things, which I may not understand.
Yeah.
By having the confidence to ask, okay, so if I know this, how will I understand that? So I wanted more and more women to feel like that.
Yes, 100%.
And to make that decision of, you should feel empowered. One way of feeling empowered is to know these finance terms.
Yeah, very much so. My biggest client base is with spouses of bankers and then bankers themselves. But these could be bankers who are doing not revenue
Investing,
generation, but relationship management or corporate banking, etc. So they understand the products, but they haven't invested for themselves. Or I've also had a couple of people coming from treasury, but they're doing either some sort of underwriting, I don't know what the technical terminology is, but something in the monitoring side of things instead of actually putting their money on the line. So they always feel a bit hesitant to say, oh, we work for a bank, or our spouse is a banker.
Yes.
But they always go with the best feedback in terms of feeling more empowered, just as you said. And the best feedback that I've had is dinner conversations make sense now. And it's a small but a big shift,
It's a really big one because you look at it. See, as I was saying, that having dinner and talking about things that both people are able to make sense of, right?
Yes,
it makes a big thing. So I guess, that's pretty much how that came about.
Lovely.
And then,
I am convinced about a controversy theory about how the jargon keeps people feeling intellectual, because then they're talking down at people saying, I'm going long on this stock because whatever my outlook is, or any other. Now I've forgotten to even use these terms. I was working with a company that was related to something to do with hedge funds previously, and a lot of the terminology is pushed into your vocabulary the first few months, right? Because of this, they don't say it in so many words, but to appear smarter.
See, the thing is, this is something that we are trying to change. Our tagline is actually wealth management uncomplicated. Why? Because we don't wear suits, and it was a mandate that we're not going to be formally dressed, suited, be casual. And again, as I said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. We're not going to use complicated jargons. Why? Because if you think about it, and the conspiracy that you're talking about is that if you don't make it complicated enough, then they will think that they can do it themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And then you won't have a job.
Yes.
So that is the basics with which a lot of the industry has operated in the past. And when we were talking about the clientele here, almost everybody we met had been missold some products that they absolutely did not understand. They were making returns of like 1.5% for the last 7-8 years. It was sad to see.
Me too.
So it's, I think what you're doing is so rewarding as well that you're actually teaching people to invest and do that themselves, right?
It is.
And if you have the time to do that, that is absolutely the best thing, because you meet a lot of people who do manage their own portfolios and they can beat any fund manager.
Yes.
What becomes difficult is to replicate that for hundreds of people.
Of course.
And that's why if you're able to do that for yourself, right, give it the time and effort to learn it and learn that trick, there's nothing better than that.
Absolutely. No, yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I meant even I had been missold a couple of products, and it's so common. It's super common.
Yes.
Sonali, so tell me, you've been a mom since 7 years now, is that right? And tell me how everything changed, or did it change? How was it the first time around, the second time around? Our kids are similar age, so we've spoken about this in different contexts. For me, motherhood changed everything in terms of, I think corporates were a little disillusioning for me. But I think I've understood now with the help of a few things like human design, etc. So that's given me a little bit of reassurance in terms of my personality type not being best suited for corporates, which is why it was always such a drag for me.
Yes.
And then getting bad managers one after the other was just the decision was made for me pretty much. And then having my son was the final kind of nail in the coffin, if I want to say, or the final kick to say, okay, now just do what you need to do.
Correct.
Was it like a very full and final thing for you? Tell me a little bit about that journey.
So I had always thought that I would take a break when I would have a kid, because I think from the longest time that I know myself, I wanted to be a mother. It was like the biggest dream of my life to be a mom.
Really?
Absolutely. Like my mom is a stay-at-home mom, and I think that played a very big role for me, that I wanted to be there for my kids the way my mom was. But again, I don't know many women who are, if they are still in corporate, that have not had a big opportunity along with their, child being born. It is almost uncanny, but that ends up happening.
I had the same.
So I had an opportunity which I couldn't say no to at that time. And it meant, again, big financial reward, which at that point in time meant big things for us in Dubai.
Sure.
So that wasn't an option.
Sure.
And then you kind of pulled through. At that time, there wasn't that much flexibility because there wasn't that much Zoom.
Pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID.
Yes.
So you still had to go to the office. You still had to, do meetings in person.
Yeah.
I still had to travel to India quite a lot, like once every 2 months, because I did have clients in India as well.
Right.
And I would take my daughter with me. Luckily, it was in a place where my parents are too. So I would have some help to look after my daughter.
Sure. But then it becomes a full logistical thing
it was a lot.
Organize,
but somehow navigated it and stayed on. And I think motherhood absolutely changed me. My priorities changed, like it would for almost every mother that I would know.
Yeah.
That, taking care of that child with everything that you possibly can, giving the best that you possibly can.
Yeah.
All of that was there.
Yeah.
And then it was a big thing for me personally to give our child a sibling.
Yeah.
Because the bond that I have with my sibling is so strong, and that has helped me through so many different things.
Yeah.
In fact, my sister is a very big driving force as to why I am working still today.
Oh, really?
Because, she is in the US and
she's older.
She's older.
Right.
And she left her job when she had her second one because, you don't have that much of a support system over there.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And she literally said that there is no way that you should leave, because once you leave it, then if you want to get back, it's really hard.
Yes, of course.
So either you should have that drive to kind of do something on your own which, as you mentioned a certain personality type. My sister's
Yes.
personality type is not to really do that
Sure.
of, do something of her own,
Yeah.
And I think that I'm also that personality type.
Sure.
I like the fact that I work for someone else,
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, if I decide to walk away,
Yeah.
which is very hard because you
Yeah.
are responsible for so many
You're
clients,
invested.
so many people that you are working with day to day. But just at the back of my mind, having that choice helps me.
Of course.
That somebody else can take on the load. Like when I
totally understand.
So like that
Yeah.
6 month sabbatical that I took.
Yes.
I mean, there were other people that looked after my clients.
Yeah, I totally understand.
My 2 maternity leaves, other people looked after my clients, and my clients understood.
Yes, totally.
So,
and sometimes, like, I feel on bad days,
Yes.
if I wasn't building something always,
Yes.
the energy that I had to put in would be a lot lesser. Like on days when I don't have that much to give, I just wish I was a cog in a bigger system,
Yes.
doing my bit and pushing the things along. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Like instead of always having to do everything all at once, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Correct.
So I totally understand. No
Yeah.
justification required.
So, yes, that's where it was. But I think it got really hard after the second one and post-COVID and during COVID. Like,
When you saw your sister, did you feel a little bit like there was potential that was not being utilized?
absolutely. She was the smarter one growing up, always. Like,
Right.
she was, I look up to her in every way, even now.
Wow.
Right? So I would think that if I had to kind of picture in my childhood who would be in this position, it would be her rather than me.
Right.
I was the one who always wanted to play, house, play with the kids and
Right.
kind of be a stay-at-home mom, maybe.
I don't know this side of you. Wow.
I would have loved to be that.
Right.
But then today I am not that.
Yeah.
Now I would find it difficult to only be with my kids. I love being present for my kids
Yes.
in the bursts that I am because I'm
Yes.
fully present.
Yes.
Yes, there's a lot to juggle. And especially when the second one came in, that was not something that I was expecting at all because you have that limited time, which both are trying to pull you on either side.
Yes.
So you're always ending up ignoring one over the other,
Yeah.
which is heartbreaking.
Which is, it is.
And I think my son was getting sick a lot because, daughter was going to school, bringing the germs home.
Yeah.
And that was the trigger that I needed a break because the trigger was the fact that I couldn't be 100% present for my clients at work because this was
You would
just
need the here nor
priority.
there. Yeah.
So, of course, your child's health will take priority over everything else.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought it wasn't fair for me to do this, that I continue. And I did think of quitting at that point in time, and I did put in my resignation.
You went as far as to?
Yes, because it was taking a lot of toll on me mentally. I was doing too many things. I wasn't feeling very good about myself, very good about the work, because I used to feel like it's because of the work that I can't be there for my kid.
Yeah.
And it's because of that my kid is getting sick because I'm not around. He's always being looked after by the nanny.
Yeah.
All of that started playing.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, the deputy CEO at that time, who's a joint CEO now, said, just take a break.
Right. So we understand this situation all too well.
Yes.
Tell us what helped you come out of it, apart from the external support, which is, I mean, you were lucky to have. And of course, we commend them on that as well, to give you that as well.
Yes.
What helped you in your own personal practices, or what changed things around for you?
So I think I've always talked about it, that, the community that we both are a part of. So that community really helped. It was the sense of community of meeting other women who had been through this journey.
Right.
So many women that you went that were like hyper successful at corporate, then maybe, left it. Like, I mean, look at you, you're so qualified, right?
Yes.
And then you decided to take that step because this is what was important for you.
Yes.
So just mingling with other women, understanding what their journeys were, it really helped me to think about what is my journey supposed to be about.
Okay. Yeah.
And that helped me arrive at the situation that, yes, I want to be part of this, but I want to be part of it in a bigger manner, to be contributing in a bigger manner.
Sure.
And the motto became that one part is to, yes, balance it out. And we have all of those things here in this corporate environment, but also to be able to make it that you can make something big with a corporate environment while having or being present for your family.
Sure.
It's really difficult. And there are days where you're just like, this is simply not possible.
Yeah.
You have to say no a lot, which is the hardest part for someone like me, and maybe I think for most of us grown up in the whole Asian side of things, it's really hard to say no.
Yeah. So you have to say no on both sides, right?
Both sides, yes. Sometimes you have to say no to work that, okay, no, I can't travel. I'm sorry, I can't travel on this. If there's a way for you to, make me join remotely, okay. Otherwise, I will take in that information from somebody else, right? It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Everyone is present physically. You're not. That's hard. But then, and then you have to say no to your children that,
sorry,
mama has to, if I have to travel sometimes, sorry, 2 days, mama is not going to be there, and you have to be okay with that. So on both sides, so that was hard. And it continues to be hard. You kind of have to stay in that village of that community to keep meeting people to say yes, you've got this, and you have to keep going and doing this.
I think a lot, the main thing that comes for me is you have to be very secure on both sides. So even if the kids have spent 4 days with the nanny, I'm still the mom and they're still attached to me. If I'm not present for these work things, I still carry on adding value because I do.
Correct.
Without questioning it, without wanting to justify it.
Absolutely.
And that's where it really comes down to, right? Has the chatter in your mind of constantly this between that, leaving the house, has that come down? Because I'm very hard on my time. I'm almost subconsciously always calculating this much time has gone towards this. I've only spent this much time with the elder one, the younger one. And it is so exhausting sometimes. That's my current journey, to really kind of just trust how the day goes and set that intention. But has the chatter calmed down?
No.
Oh no. I wanted tips on that.
Not yet. But I think, again, it has come down, if you have to ask me, from when motherhood started. Am I better?
Yeah.
I am better today.
Sure.
But is there more work to be done? Yes. But I do feel less guilty about certain things if I have been able to give that quality time as what I would want.
Sure.
So, and I have made peace with that. There will be certain days, like we have certain offsites or, certain days which are like, I don't see the kids at all.
Right.
It will be from morning till evening. I'll come back when the kids have gone to bed, or if I'm having to travel. I have made peace with the fact that that's okay, because I will compensate another time.
Yeah.
It affects me, or that chatter is a lot more when these times become more and these times become lesser.
Yeah. True.
So it's a balancing act.
Yeah. We were talking about role models also before, and I also had a very present stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
And I think we bring a lot of our desire to be there for that while being there for our careers, our ambitions as well, right? So any mentions of role models that you'd like to add here?
So I think as we were talking earlier, there was, it's a very extended role model, but there was this, we used to call her Mommy.
Right.
And she worked for Lufthansa at the time when she got married, and, she came and she was always like dressed up so well, and all of the girls used to like look up to her.
Right.
And then they moved to the UK with Lufthansa. She was working there, then British Airways in like management positions.
Sure.
And then she had reached a very top position in Royal Mail as well. And I ended up meeting her very recently, about a year ago, here in Dubai. And I told her that, because now her kids are grown up, one is going to be a pilot, the other one is studying automobile engineering, and she has an elder daughter and a younger son.
Right.
So I have an elder daughter and a younger son.
Yeah.
And I told her that, you have been so inspiring because, to make it big in corporate, and you have been, such secure bonds with her children.
Yeah.
And I will say this, that the dad has had a very big role to play in that, because the dad ended up, he had his own business, so he would be there for a lot of the pickups, drops, and everything, which is difficult to do in Dubai. And then, my husband's job is quite intense also.
Yeah.
But I think we're blessed that we can create a support system and of helpers.
Yes.
I feel less guilty about allocating some of the mundane stuff to the helpers now.
Sure. I was very hard on myself the first time around. Now I see them as an integral part of the team.
Absolutely.
It's a team. There is no competition. If there's more time spent one way or the other, absolutely fine. It is part of the team.
Yes.
Because I truly see that it takes a village.
Yes.
And
so tell me, have that here, no? So.
Fair. This is our village, and maybe that's the way to see it. Going towards the end of the episode, with this example as well, do you buy into the philosophy of something's got to give?
100%.
Really?
100%. There is this, I absolutely don't believe in the fact that you can have it all.
Really?
Because it can be a balance, and it can be that I would dream about these management positions, right? And then when you see that what it takes to be in that, and how much is going into it, and what they are giving as well, they are giving up a lot.
Yeah.
They're giving up sometimes time with family, thinking about their spouses, right? For this. Is that something that I'm willing to give up? So I think it's about prioritizing and seeing what your top priority items are. And if you want to be, you can be 90 at something, but maybe 50-50 at others, and you're okay with that. Yeah. But to expect you're going to be 90 at everything, which is such a woman problem, I think, of trying to be this perfectionist. And I was a perfectionist earlier. And I think the one big thing that motherhood taught me was that you can't be a perfectionist. Yeah. Because no matter what you do, like I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, every parent we met said, "We met you as well, I remember, and you said sleep." Yeah. And I was like, I got this. I'm going to read every book and I will make sure, because I couldn't survive without 8 hours of sleep before I had a kid. Mm-hmm. So I was like, there is no way that I can handle this. Yeah. I read every book, tried every technique. My daughter was like, you can do what you want. I'm going to sleep when I want and wake up when I want, and as many times as I want.
Sod all the books out of the window.
So it was a very humbling experience.
Very much so, yes.
So I think that to believe that you can have it all is an illusion. Really? It's a very strong statement to make. Yeah. But I think that it's an illusion. For anyone who, people would look at you, you have flexibility, look at that, you're doing this podcast, but you've given up something.
I have.
Right? Yeah. And there is so much. You can probably do an entire episode on just that, right?
Good idea.
Yes.
But yeah.
So no one ends up seeing what all has been given up to reach there.
Yeah. It is very much a case of prioritizing.
Yes.
And what I've come to now realize is my belief is actually very much that you can have it all, but in terms of having the essence of it. So
Yes.
you may not have financial success, you may not have, and let's say present motherhood together.
Yes.
But the financial success is to get to a place of freedom. If you are able to feel the freedom now, is the way I look at it. But yes, your bank account will look different from what it
But
would
again,
have.
it's about accepting.
It is.
About accepting that that's okay.
This is the path I've taken.
This is the path you've taken, and you have to be comfortable with
Yeah.
it.
Takes a
right?
while,
So
takes a while.
It takes a while, and
Yeah.
it's something that you're constantly going to work
Yes.
on as well. You know,
Correct.
I don't think you ever reach that point of ultimate
there now.
nirvana
Yeah.
that I have got it.
Yeah.
Right? Because something else will come in. Like there are stressful situations that come in. So when there is stress, it manifests itself in your body. Then you
sure.
start to question that, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Right? Because when you have got that financial success,
Yes.
then you feel like, why should I pursue it?
Yeah. Yeah.
The why question comes in.
Yeah.
So that the other side has also got its, how do you keep going?
Yeah.
Then you have, if you've achieved financial success and you decide to stop doing what you're doing, then what? Who are you?
Then it's a case of failure. So very much
Yeah.
so. It's about, I say this in informal and formal
Yeah.
conversations, that with motherhood, for me, it was very much about knowing who I was without the salary, without the designation,
Yes.
without the education, because with this child, it was me. And
Yes.
we forget who we are, or it's a discovery. I don't know which way it is,
Yes.
but it's very much about accepting who you are without all these labels. And that
Correct.
is a journey, constant journey.
And I think what ends up happening is who you think you were is what you realize that with motherhood, in most cases, that you're somebody else altogether. You become someone else. Like, I mean, for me, it was the opposite. That I never thought that my designation, my work is going to be such a big part of defining who I am.
Right.
I never thought that.
Right.
But it is a very big part of who I am. And when I think about it, who I will be without this, it is
A different
it's
person.
a different world. It's very difficult for me to think about who I'll be without this.
Wow. Right. Thank you so much for sharing so much candidly and generously through this chat, Sonali. Since this is the She Invest show, I always end with the one question as to what you think she should be investing in.
My simple answer is something that you understand and that you can sustain for a long time. Whatever strategy you follow, there are a lot of different strategies that are there.
Yes.
Whichever, and they work.
Yes.
But they all work if you give in all of the ingredients. Look at it like a recipe, right? A recipe of a cake will succeed if you have given the ingredients and the time that it needs for that to succeed. It's the same thing with investing, right? That whatever strategy, if you're going a certain strategy, follow it through and understand why you're doing it, what you're doing in it.
Yeah.
And time.
Yeah.
The most important thing is to give it time. Anything taken out before it's time, well, that's disaster.
Yeah.
So
with that amazing food analogy, thank you once again for coming and sharing your knowledge and so many nuggets of wisdom. Looking forward to catching up with you on and off the show. That's it for us today. Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thank you.